Overseed day, that time of year to get your...
We are going to the fair!
And then after we overseed, we're gonna go to the fair and rodeo tonight. First step, I'm going to do the scarifyer on the sunjoe. I borrowed it from Bert, and...
We're gonna go to the fair.
I don't know who's more excited, me doing the overseed or them going to the fair. First, scarify, bringing up all the dead material, thinning out the canopy. Then we're gonna pick those up. Then I've got the big Haas aerator back there. We're going to core aerate, and then after we aerate, we pick it up, we're going to throw our seed down. Then some tenacity, you want a pre-emergent down. Tenacity works when you're seeding. And then we're going to level it with some either sand or topsoil. I haven't quite chosen yet. Probably a topsoil. I've got a couple areas that need leveling, and then we're gonna be done. And that's it. That's how easy it is. So big day, overseed day. Ooh, this is working really good. We're getting lots of dead grass up. Yes, there is some good green grass in there too, but it's really working well. And I've got the leaf picker upper, and that thing works awesome too. It's nice to have lots of equipment that you pick up piece by piece along the way. So I have the Greenworks dethatcher. It's got the springs with the top metal tines. It does not pull up this much. And I think if it was the Scarifyer cartridge on it, that it would, because this is a Scarifyer. I don't think the sunjoe has anything to do with the quality compared to the Greenworks, but I think the Scarifyer blade is hands down the way to go. Okay, so if I really wanted to get after this, I could do it multiple directions, diagonal, straight up and down, checkered board, diamonds, all that kind of stuff. Really get after it, but I need to get this picked up because the kids are trampling it inside and it's causing an issue. So I'm gonna pick it up with the leaf sweeper, and then I might mow, might not, and then we're going to aerate. So let's get it picked up. Okay, here are some important dates to remember when you're overseeding cool season grass. It takes about 45 days to get established, so plan yourself out for 45 days from now before the first frost. That way your grass can get established. Now our first frost roughly is middle of October, which is 45 days from now. So my Kentucky bluegrass will be right there on the edge of being established before winter comes. The weather has definitely changed. It was in the 90s.
So damn hot.
Now we're down to the 70s with the lows being down in the 50s. So perfect time to overseed is right now, or maybe a week or two ago. But we're doing it now, so it's gonna work. Okay. Secret time. Never ran one of these. I know what you're thinking. Lawn channel, he's probably done it.
It's not that simple.
Makes sense to me. I understand the concept of how to run these things. They're a beast. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be tough. Maybe I need a cup of coffee before I do it. Maybe some ibuprofen, but.
I mean, anybody can do it, right?
Yeah. It says if you fill it up with water, it'll add 50 pounds to it. So I'm going to do that because I want the core plugs to be as deep as possible. I want the biggest plugs possible. So let's fill it up and then let's use it. Okay, here's a few things to remember when you core aerate. Flag off your heads. Do not want to aerate. You don't want to have a plug in the top of your head. So flag off your head so you know where they are. Don't run them over. That's a good rule. And then the other thing that I'm thinking in my head is I've got some high spots that I want to lower, and I'm gonna hammer those back and forth with the aerator because I'm removing the plugs, which over time it will remove that little bit of dirt and it'll slowly start to get back level because I want this. There's a couple high spots that I want to level off. I'm gonna grip it and rip it. I think I know how to use this thing. Let's test it out. Also, make sure your ground is really wet, nice and moist, because it's easier when it's wet. Okay, so now it is time to clean up, and it's my final mow, because once I put the seed down, you're not going to want to mow until germination. Luckily, I have my plant growth regulator on it, so it's growing at a really small pace anyways, slow pace. You're not going to mow for a while. Make sure you get it picked up and your final mow is nice and low. I'm changing out my blade because all these cores I'll be picking up, and I got pretty sandy soil, and so that the cores are going to kind of tear that blade apart. Luckily, I keep my spare blades around, and maybe I'll sharpen it up a little bit too. All right, let's clean it up. Okay, it's cleaned up. It's not perfect, but it's cleaned up. There's some plugs left over, and might bother me. I might pick them up, but it's time to seed. I'm gonna throw down my Jacqueline seed after Midnight Kentucky Bluegrass, new this year. I'm excited to try it. I'm going to use it in a little pot just to see it stand alone. And it's also another tip. It's also another tip too. When you overseed, it's hard to tell. Like, well, I don't know if the new grass is germinated yet. I don't know if it's growing yet. Get yourself a little cup, put some soil in it, put your seed in there, and then when that germinates, you know that your seed is also germinating in your yard. That way you just know. So that was a good tip. My seed rate is going to be, I've got 25-pound bag. I'm not going to use the whole thing because I also want it for, I want to specify some bald areas that I have too, and also maybe some left over for the spring. So I'll probably use about 15 pounds. That's 8,000 square feet. So we'll just say 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet, roughly. That is the plan. I'm gonna throw it down. I'm gonna use the drop spreader because I do not want it getting in the beds, the shrubs beds, or the flowers or anything like that. I'm gonna use the Scott's drop spreader. That's the only decent thing that Scott's made. Then I'm going to use my Tenacity pre-emergent, and I'm gonna spray that down with my new Chapin push sprayer. It's gonna be, this thing is awesome. And after that, the other step you could do is roll it in. I might roll it in with my reel mower, might not sure, but that's a good step to do as well. And then you water, and water like crazy, because seed needs to be moist all the time. So instead of your Monday, Wednesday, Friday waterings that you normally do, every day, maybe even twice a day, just a little bit here and there, twice a day, and keep that seed moist until it germinates, and then fertilize like crazy, and hope we make it to winter. So that is Overseeding 2023, fall 2023. Hope this helps. Ask questions, comment below if you guys need to. Let me know if you guys are doing overseed this year too, and I'll come back with the results here in a few weeks when it starts growing, and then I'll do it during my first mow. So give me like 3 weeks and I'll give you guys an update. I'll have some videos in between too. Thank you for watching. Laters on the Menche.
Well, see you later.